Okay, please state your name.
My name is Carlos Alberto Mosquera.
And Carlos, what is your age?
I'm 27 years old. In a couple of months, I will be 28.
In what city do you now live?
I live in Villa Maria, Caldas.
In what country?
That is Colombia.
Name two hobbies. What do you like to do other than teaching?
Well, other than teaching, I like to listen to music and learn new languages like French, Portuguese.
Name other countries in which you have visited.
Well, I have been to the U.S. I was there uh, at a summer camp. I was working at a summer camp
hmm
for 3 months nearly, and I came back to Colombia.
Do you currently hold a visa to any other country?
No, in any other country. I just have a visa to go to United States. No
When
more.
you were in the United States, which states were you working in, or what state were you working in?
I was working in. I forgot the name now.
Okay.
I will let you know along the process, along the interview.
How long have you had a driver's license?
I had the driving license since 2014, before going to the U.S.
Okay. Do you drive on a daily basis sometimes or almost never?
Well, I do sometimes. I hit a car. I sold it like 2 months ago, but I still have friend who has car, and
hmm
sometimes when we are going to, out of the city, I have to drive.
How many years have you been employed as a teacher since you received your degree?
I've been teaching since 2012. I graduated 2011, and since then I've been working in public and private high schools and institutions.
Which foreign languages have you taught in a regular classroom situation?
Well, just English.
Okay. Are you currently employed in a school?
I work for a public institute,
hmm
but it is not a school.
What
It is
age are the students?
the students I have, a student from different age. I have students from 12 up to 37, 38.
And you mentioned you're currently working on your master's, correct?
That's correct. I'm
Go ahead.
sorry. Yeah, I'm in my last year. I'm actually my last semester of the master program, and what I have gained a lot of, you know, teaching skills, a lot of strategies to do a better job when it comes to teach.
You can just respond yes or no to indicate that you have taught at these different levels. The elementary, ages 4 to 11,
Yes,
middle school, ages 11 to 14-year-olds.
yes.
Okay, you've mentioned high school. You also mentioned institutions. Have you taught at the university level or taught adults?
No, not yet, but I will start teaching at a university level in a couple of months. But it's just a contract, 4 month contract.
Okay.
Yes.
About how many, or let me ask you this, which level do you prefer?
Rather work with teenagers
hmm
and with adults. Although I can do a better job teaching in elementary students,
hmm
but I rather work with those two levels of students.
About how many students were in each of your classes?
Well, when I was working at a public high schools, I have to teach in a classroom where the number of students were 45 to 50, which is a lot of people inside a classroom.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have experience as a sports coach?
As a sport coach, no, not
Okay.
really.
What
But it,
about,
but when I was in the United States, I was a camp counselor, where I have to, help the students, help American kids, to do different kind of activity like water sports activities, and archery, basketball. I mean, I had to play basketball with them, give them some
Hmm.
instructions how to play basketball, and some of the things they consider to be very exciting.
Have you had experience drama club, foreign language clubs, or doing any extracurricular activity, coaching or supervising?
Yes, when I was a public school teacher, I used to do a conversation club in order to help the student to master the English speaking. I mean, to better the speaking skill. It was something extra curricular.
Name briefly any other work experience you've had other than in education.
Uh, Another experience I have worked as a, like I said before, as a camp counselor,
Hmm.
um, where I had to teach. I mean, I was a counselor in the United States, and that was a really cool experience I had. I also worked as in a I worked in a call center
Hmm.
as a, I forgot the name, but I was working at a I was working in that position,
Hmm. Okay.
and what I have to respond and call sometimes customers.
Okay. What would you like to be doing professionally 5 years from now?
Well, I see myself in 5 years as a university teacher, a university professor.
What do you feel is your strongest teaching quality?
Well, I have to say that I have several skills, and two of those strongest skills I have is, you know, managing a classroom. I have very good skill in classroom management, and in the language itself, I consider myself um, a good a good speaker. So I will train my student to master the fluency in either English or French or whatever language I have to teach.
Name one adjective your colleagues or principal would use to describe you.
One adjective, uh, they an adjective could be um, let me let me think. Sorry,
No, that's fine.
energetic. Yes.
Name one adjective your students would use to describe you.
Easygoing.
Name two things you do to motivate your students to want to learn.
Well, I use I use a very effective way to motivate my students by telling them the way I get to learn English and French as well. So I tell them my own experience, and and that have been really good things I've done in my class, and the students get to like what I teach them, and they have I have seen progress in my students.
Name three things you do to control students who don't follow your class rules.
Okay, three things. The first one, I will change their seats. I mean, I will move the student into disrupting my class. I will move them to different places. I will put them in a different place. Also, I will. One thing is that I will tell them to get out of the classroom for 1 minute, 1 to 2 minutes, and once they feel they feel that they can be in the classroom environment, they are allowed to get in. And the other one is to uh, put in extra assignments that will help a lot to get them back on track to to do things the way I ask them to do.
Name one thing you do if you feel stress in your job.
Well, when I feel stressed, if I get to that point, I will definitely. think about something funny, something hilarious that made me, made me change my state of mind. Another thing is that I will walk, I will drink a glass of water, and that will be perfect to go back on track.
Give me one brief example to show that you can be flexible in your teaching assignment.
Well, one way to show you that I would be a flexible teacher is that I try to use different activities. I know there are students with different learning rates and and different learning rates and levels, and I will use that as a way to to I will use a holistic approach, to fulfill all my students' needs, and in such a way that all of them we all get to the goal of. In that way, I consider that would show that I'm I well, I don't know if I get the question right. Could you repeat that again?
Yeah, give me a brief example to show that you can be flexible in your teaching assignment.
Yes. Like I said, I will use a holistic approach in which I use activities uh, that satisfy all the student needs depending on the level, the learning rate, depending on the how fast or how low the students' levels are. So I will do or incorporate activities that satisfy all the students' needs.
Okay. Name 4 steps that should be included in a lesson plan.
Okay, first, the first one is the icebreaker, or yeah, the icebreaker. That is in which I get my students involved in the activity. The other thing I need to be aware of is the timing. I mean, to know exactly how long it's going to take to do or to develop one thing inside the classroom. The other thing is the procedure in which I will do what I want the student to do or to achieve in that classroom, and in the classroom or in the lesson. And the last one is going to be the checking for understanding or the assessment when I'm going to see the student got the point or student successfully get the message or understood what I wanted them to understand. Sorry.
You can just answer yes or no to indicate that you use the following or have used the following in your teaching. Using the internet.
Yes.
Okay, using video projectors.
Yes.
Okay, what about smart boards or Promethean boards?
No.
Okay. What about using PowerPoints or Prezi presentations?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to kind of switch gears here. The natural method of learning a second language. Can you define that for me? And just in one sentence, define the natural method of learning a second language.
The natural.
Yes, natural method of learning a second language.
I have to define that. Okay, I will say the natural is holistic.
Hmm.
Uh, can be yeah, holistic. I would say
Okay. Where do you feel the emphasis should be? In teaching grammar or in teaching communication skill?
it has to be more communicative, communication to teach more communication.
Please name the 4 basic communication skills.
The four bases communicate.
Yes.
Well, listening, reading, writing, and sorry, listening, reading, writing, and speaking. They are the four
Okay.
skills.
All right. Um, Say you're teaching verb use to your students. Would you conjugate the verbs or list their grammatical forms first? Or would you introduce an activity that provides an experience for them first?
I will do that. I will introduce an activity that will take you to that because remember, it's better for students to learn the grammar inductively, not deductively. That's why I will use activity that will take them so they can learn the grammar inductively.
Uh,
I won't explain grammar as such. I will let them to pick it up in a way that they don't see, because I know how frustrating it is when they want to understand things. And the idea is if we use the communicative approach, the idea that they can communicate and they can along the process they can pick up the grammar inductively.
how did you learn about the FACES program?
Well, I have a friend who is from the United States, and he told me about a program. He's from there, and now he was here working at, he came as a volunteer, and I met him here, and then I told him that I wanted to go to United States and to teach for a couple of years, gain that overseas experience, and come back to my home country. And he told me about a program about faces.
Okay. In one sentence, tell me the most important reason you should be considered for a position.
Okay, I should be, or I should be a candidate. I should be the right person, since I am well grounded with the new technology, and I'm a highly qualified. I'm a highly qualified teacher, and I have a vast teaching experience, teaching English as a foreign language here in Colombia.
Um, are you willing to make a commitment for 3 years to work in a South Carolina school?
Yes, I'm definitely willing to go and work for 3 years in South Carolina. But I hope I can do a very nice job there, and people get like the way I teach. And I hope that my experience here can be the same teaching there, that the student can love it every time I step into the classroom. They can like and they feel happy and really excited to having me there in the classroom.
Name two things you would do in a classroom to represent Colombia.
Two things I will do to represent Colombia is to teach them about the folklore, the dances, the dance we have here, and an activity that might be about food, the Colombian food. I would teach them what are the most typical Colombian food, and in such a way they will get to know a little bit about my country.
Are you currently under a contract, or will you soon enter into a contract that might prevent you from accepting a position?
Well, like I said, for this year, it has to be it has to be late October or November, because by that time I'm going to be pretty much free,
Hmm.
because the master is is the what had me here, the master program, and that's my first my first priority, is to graduate, and after that, my graduation, or at least that I finish all the modules I have to complete, I will be ready to leave. And this one, I mean, going to United States and teach there is my second priority, and it's one of the most, I mean, the strongest one. But I have to, follow the order. I have to first finish the master, not to leave this thing incomplete, because that means I'm not organized if I leave the master to go to United States. I mean, it's matter of putting things in the right order. First the master, second the United States. So that's why I say if I have chosen for the if I'm chosen for the position, it has to be late October, or next year, let's say January or February. I'll be ready to go.
All right. Well, Carlos, thank you so much for meeting with me today.
Thank you, Cindy. Thank you very much.